mind. I'm just flicking through who's here. Donna's here. Hi Wendy. Hi Sarah. Hi Joe. Hello Joe. I haven't seen you forever. Aaron's here.
Joseph Whitaker.
Joseph Whitaker. Hi Heather. Hi
Tricia. I'm here again.
Hiya.
Joseph was scary in my session earlier on.
Why?
I wondered what he was going to say. He was putting his finger up, but he was putting it up the right way around, so it was all right.
Excellent, brilliant. So we're going to do this without slides tonight because I'm feeling rebellious. So just a chance to kind of check in for 15 minutes tops and say, how is it for you? And hear your highlights and your things that you've heard that have made you think. Some quotes of the day would be lovely. Feel free to type at any point. And if you'd like to say something, then
Tricia, the thing for me today was I was in Nick Sinclair's meeting, right?
Right.
And that meeting went well. And I met a girl called Becky North or Becky N.
Yeah,
in Wigan.
yeah.
And I said to her, if she needs, about, we run Speak Up Your group in the Wirral, Martin. And me and Jenny will be on your singing with you later.
Brilliant.
When you've had a few drinks first.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm having a few of those tonight as well. And
Connecting
Becky's brilliant. Yeah. Becky's really, really brilliant.
I know she is.
Yeah.
I sent her my email address, and she's going to get back in touch with us.
Right.
Fab. So connecting was your highlight then. That's always good. Anybody else now? I'm having to scroll through.
And the one with John Bolton when Martin was showing the side.
Yeah, that was the one when Joe was putting his finger up, but it all turned out all right.
Yeah.
So anybody else, give me a wave or formally put your hand up on the clever way that you can do on Zoom.
Are you coming on tonight, Tricia?
I'm flicking through to try and see, desperately to see if people have either got their hand up or in real time or on Zoom.
Ezra.
Jenny's put a message in the chat, Martin.
Yes. For me, all I want to say is that it's been brilliant. When I first heard of this festival, I didn't know what to expect. But it's been really, really informative. Like you said, I'm fired up. The last one we just had about the what do you call it? It's gonna have my head now.
Movement one.
The movement one, exactly. The movement one is just like, wow, these things are still happening. They can still happen. It's about knowing how, and it's good to have these two people in there who really, they're good experts. And, also sharing information for me is very informative for me because as a lone worker, it's nice to know that there are organizations out there that I can reach out to, even if I'm just trying to help a family who are struggling with, resources that are available or not available to them. So it's about knowing this and sharing information with the people that I'm working with my colleagues and, with the service that I work for, that I'm really, really proud to be part of.
Brilliant. Thanks, Sasha. That's fab. Julie, was the business as usual, unusual? Was that good? Because I couldn't be in it. Tell us a little bit about some of the highlights.
It was just fantastic. So they were talking about, some of the staff self-managing, really common sense and heartfelt working forward. It was just an absolute bloody joy for me to listen. And it was different organisations, talking about how they were just listening really well to people and responding and not getting blocked, by stupid things that don't work for people. And it was just, it completely warmed every cockle in my heart, that session.
Fantastic. Jenny, you're saying needs to be your learning was we need to be more radical. We need to be more radical. You need to be more radical. Who needs to be more radical? Jenny.
We need to be more radical, I think, because for me, we're talking about all these different things, we're not talking. We need to actually. Why don't we actually talk about getting rid of a system that doesn't work?
Okay. Definitely. Rachel's clapping there, clapping you there.
Yeah.
And
Nodding,
actually,
nodding.
if we are going to have something different, let's co-produce something different.
Yeah.
Go on, Rachel.
Go on. I'm going to say it because I think what Martin's doing through this whole event over a few days, and obviously physically when we've done it in the past, is try to get this bird's eye view of all the different speakers, all the different elements that we're going to see over the next few days. Just today, I've seen everything about promoting independence from John Bolton, communities supporting each other, the future of direct payments, building a movement. And if you look at the theme down through that, it is driving self-directed support yourself. And I've said many times, if we could wave a magic wand, do what Jenny's just said, and everybody within social care was to take a notional direct payment, then there would be no commissioning for commissioners to do. That would disappear, wouldn't it? So we'd have control of all of it. Now, if we came together as a co-op, that co-op would then probably pool our budgets together, look at what we needed in the community. We would find what the commonalities were. We'd broker together. We'd even come together to employ some brokers and coordinators, right? So why on earth can't the local authority, as it is now, those commissioners do that job and save us the trouble of doing it? But
that sounds like our conversation in the commissioning session tomorrow, Rachel. You reckon?
Yeah, well, absolutely, because literally, if they did what it is that we would do, if we had that movement, because I've just come out of that building a movement session, and basically, if you could get everybody together, we're not going to change. We've tried doing it for years, changing policy, changing national, changing local authorities, really struggling. But if we could spread the story and more people want control and self-direction through direct payments or individual service funds or however it is, we could change direction, change social care by this movement of people wanting what it is they're entitled to under the Care Act.
Take that into the session tomorrow, definitely. Monza.
Today, I found the DP interesting, and I wanted see could I get across on the week weekly meeting because I have about 15-year experience, expert.
Go on, Julie.
Yeah, so can I take that? So yeah, so Monza, I think you're talking about the weekly meeting that's around reigniting self-directed support that Martin Walker was talking about, that a lot of us, that some of us attend every week. So shall I take that as an action for me to speak to Martin and see whether or not you can get added to that list?
Yes, please. And
My action, I'll take that away.
I wanted bring up any one had experience sending money back. Anyone had experience sending money back.
As in from your budget. Rachel's your woman for that.
Yes, Monza, I've actually achieved that, again, through having personal budgets and direct payments, being able to use it flexibly with no questions from the local authority, as long as we were working towards the outcomes in our care plan, being able to pool budgets with other people with direct payments, so that we were cost effective, value for money. We were brilliant micro commissioners. And yes, so I regularly send money back.
Talking about, I wrote, you pay money in, you should have some. I talking about, I wrote, you pay money and you should have some percent.
Have some percent. Go on, Julie.
So yeah, so can I just explain that further for you, Mons? Is that all right? So Monza, it was a really interesting one, and we was going to try and pick it up on the direct payment session. But basically, if people have had a massive surplus that they've not spent the money on direct payments during COVID, and they have to give it back to the authority, are the authority then giving people's contribution back?
Okay.
So it's an interesting one. I'm speaking to a couple of directors about how that might happen. I mean, it's a bloody interesting one, but Mom's a fantastic stuff. So yeah, thanks, Monza. I'll definitely push that forward as well.
We talked about it. It was a session you weren't there, Julie. We talked about it, and actually that the answer is, you were there, Rachel, weren't you? They spend your money first. Your contribution is spent first.
Absolutely do not expect that at all.
No, I know. No, I know. There we go. John, I just wanted to pick your point up about in the direct payment session, the COVID rekindling the relationship between voluntary community centre and people of youth-led organisations. That sounds interesting. Do you want to say a bit more?
Yeah, it was a typo actually. I meant between the voluntary and community sector and the statutory sector at a national level, and between the BPULOs and statutory commissioners at a lower level. So there were examples of from 2 local authorities where they seem to have got things very right, and I hope it will sort of reinitiate interest in DPULOs amongst commissioners nationally. But I just wanted to know if any of the other sessions were picking up, because a lot of these relationships, I think, have taken a bit of a tumble in the austerity period, and there seems to be an opportunity to kind of get things going again now.
No, interesting. Anybody heard anything around that today or not? I think certainly there's been, from the meeting that Julie and Rachel and I, and possibly others that I can't see a part of, with TLAP, there has certainly been some opportunities, haven't there, that COVID, in a glass half full way, that definitely there seems to be some people realizing that permission to do things as they were supposed to be doing already under the Care Act, that COVID's given them the chance to recognise that. Martin? Asked to unmute.
Unmute. I've been saying that to so many people today. I see there's one or two other people who were trying to get in, Joe and Sarah, I think. But just on that issue of that John's just raised, the session we had yesterday with Grapevine was interesting, and particularly another session they're just organising. They're organising a session with local professionals and statutory workers to have a conversation about how they can keep stuff going. So there was this feeling that that there was a time during the kind of height of things, first wave, when in Coventry people were managing to drop the bureaucracy and the extra rules and all the rest of it, and then they were starting to feel it was starting to come back again. And so they're going to have a session which is just like a session just for the professionals, with a bit of prompt to say, how can we keep this good stuff going? Come on. And obviously with it being Grapevine, they've got a much cleverer process than I've just described to do it, but I thought it sounded interesting.
Brilliant, thanks. Joe, did you want to say?
Yeah, I would just like to make a general point, really. That is about the fact that this event is taking place at all. I think that the Zoom event and it being able to have captured many of the elements of previous face-to-face meetings, I've certainly would like to congratulate those people that have organized this and put an awful lot of effort into it, because it has enabled me to participate in a way that I wouldn't normally have been able to do, whilst at the same time being able to continue to provide the support that I need to provide at home with my partner and his mum. So I'd really like to say a big thank you. And again, many of the issues that are circulating and we're talking about absolutely need to there, but it really has brought it home to me how you provide support at the same time as being effective support, at the same time as being actively involved in this event. And I think it's succeeded on so many levels so far. Thank you.
We love you. Was there somebody else that you know? Sorry,
Sarah was trying to get in a while back.
And has she given up? Sorry,
I
Sarah.
I don't know. Have you given up, Sarah?
Go on, Sarah. Somehow I'm missing people's hands and waving. I'm really sorry.
You mean me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just going to follow up from Julie, because obviously I was part of the business as usual. So it was a comment that was a while ago now, but it was fantastic, and we met people who were absolutely advocating about living a life of opportunity, leading, fulfilling dreams, which is what it is absolutely all about. And the challenge to us as organisations is the role that we can play to make that happen bigger, better, quicker. And it is all just so linked up, isn't it, really, in terms of the vision was there, the absolute vision was there, but how we do what you're saying, Jenny, is to bypass part of the system, which then just holds people back, is the call, is what we need to address. And I just want to finish on a quote. People who were in that session, we heard a very talented poet, Emily, and I think her details are all over Twitter now, so let's get that trending. She's written a poem about disability, which is amazing. We heard from Rory, who has already now circulated a toolkit to set up social groups. But the saying there for me was, when people asked what was important to them, sex, drugs, and sausage rolls. So that was something that was all the brain and body needs, apparently. Sex, drugs, and sausage rolls. So yeah, good day.
We should maybe do that one tonight at the social.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's fantastic. Thanks, Sarah. That's great. Our session this afternoon about the workforce and the changing workforce, people came up with the idea of, so the big thing was connection. Whatever people were talking about was all about connection, of course. But the great thing that people came up with is the idea of a role of a social care influencer, which I think we could take and run with. I love the idea of a social care influencer. So and you could do it at a big level, but also low level. So I like that idea. So we've definitely got to pick up and run with it. So thanks, Bryony. That's brilliant. So, and Jackie, you were asking, were we planning to do this again? So Gaynor and Martin and Julie and I, they've got slightly wide staring eyes. Maybe not next week, but it's because it's the third time we've done it in a row. We've done one each year at this time of year, and they've been face to face up until now, but obviously we've had to do it virtually this year, and the feedback has generally been, we love it virtually, so that's great. So yes, this is definitely not the last thing we're going to do ever, is it, Martin, Julie, Gaynor?
No, we're having a couple of weeks off and then we'll do another one.
Yeah, I'll do it in a couple of weeks' time. Right, guys, I'm going to let you go, so you've got a little bit of a break, because remember, we're coming back at 7 for those of us who want to come together and have a glass of wine or a cup of tea, or a sausage roll. And there'll be we're going to play the Mix It videos again. We've got a lovely video from Dance Syndrome. Elvis is going to be in the building. Julie's got a scavenger hunt for us.
Taylor Swift as
Taylor
well.
Swift is going to be in the building as well. Excellent, fantastic. So if you fancy that, then come back at 7 o'clock and have a drink with us all. All right. Meanwhile, thank you so much. And we'll see you later. See you back tomorrow morning as well.
See you
Take
soon.
care. Bye.